Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to use the different selection tools and how to remove the background. Okay, so we have this image right here. I'm gonna copy, go to Photopea, click File, New, and I'm just gonna change it to today's date. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay, once we're here, I'm gonna click Edit, Paste. If for some reason you do not have the paste feature, I did run into that a lot. Just get an image that's similar. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and click View and zoom in. Okay, first I'm gonna show you how to remove the background, and then I'm gonna show you how to do today's assignment, which is to add a stroke. Okay, so we have our selection tools, which are the rectangular marquee, the lasso, and then the quick selection. Okay, so if we look over here, these are what I was referring to. Okay, so I'm going to start off with using the lasso tools, and I'm going to show you how each and every one of them work. So if I click on the lasso tool, it looks like a lasso. You would just click and then trace what you're trying to select. Now you cannot release your mouse because then that happens. So it thinks that that's all you want. So if I press delete on my keyboard, that's all that's selected. So always remember that where you start is where you finish, and that's why I made that sharp line going back up. Okay, then you have the polygon lasso tool, where it's pretty much the same thing. You're able to trace an image by forming small lines. And this one, you can lift up your mouse. So I'm just clicking to trace the image. I'm gonna double click, and you'll see how it's a bit more precise. And again, it just, it finishes where it starts. So if we were drawing, sorry, if we were actually using this tool correctly, we would go all the way across like that, go around him, and then finish where we started over here. Okay. Now, oh, I'm still drawing. Now I'm going to go ahead and select the magnetic lasso tool, double click to deselect. So it's somewhat similar, but it does the thinking for you. Okay, so it thinks that you want to go around the ball, so it's going to latch on around the ball. Okay, if I do not click and I just move my mouse, it'll pick up. But the tricky thing about this one is that it picks up colors, so it's not always so accurate. So if I double click to make it a selected area, you'll see how part of the ball is cut off. Actually, it only selected the ball, so you'll see how it's inaccurate. But for certain situations with simpler colors, it is a great resource. Moving on to the quick selection tools, you have object selection. So I'm going to draw a box around him, and you'll see what it selects. So it picks up the crowd. Okay. So again, if you're working with maybe 3 colors, 4 colors, it'd be a lot simpler, but this is an image that has like over 100. So it's only latching on to what colors it thinks that you are interested in. I go into quick selection. I'm going to double click to deselect actually. So I'm going to deselect. I feel like this one's more of a magnet. So you would just click and drag, and you'll see how the ball is selected, and now he's selected, and his body is somewhat selected, but like it picked up the background over here. So again, you have to be very careful with this tool. It is a great resource. If you look up here, you have mode. So we were using the addition. We're going to go ahead and use a subtraction. And when you're using the subtraction, you always have to make sure you're going from the outside in. So this is a selected area, right? All of this right here. So I'm going to click and drag inward, and you'll see how it latches onto his skin. Okay, this is the only tool where you can like go back in and use it for other selecting. Okay, so let's say I use magnetic lasso tool and I go around him like that, and that's selected. Okay. Ooh, sorry. Go around him like that, and the ball, well, somewhat of the ball gets selected, right? And I go into the quick selection tool and I click the add because I want to add to the selection. I click and push and you'll see how more gets selected. Okay, so this is the only tool that allows you to adjust what you have selected. Now I'm going to go into the magic wand tool. I'm going to double click to deselect. And basically you click and you're able to pick up what it thinks you want selected, right? So the ball has multiple colors on it. If I were to hold down shift on my keyboard, you'll see how I'm able to add to the selected area. So it's growing. This is perfect for removing backgrounds, but if the backgrounds were a solid color or maybe 2 or 3 colors. Okay, so the way I would approach this, I'm trying to remove the background for this image. I would automatically select the polygon tool. Okay, and I would just go around him, go around the ball. And the way to be more accurate at this is by making small clicks. Okay, so once your clicks are more spaced out, your points are more spaced out. I do not want to say anchor points because technically these are anchor points. That's why I'm just referring to them as clicks. Get sloppy, and then that's where you get those very sharp edges, like almost like spikes. So I'm going to try to do this as fast as possible. I'm trying to cut off part of the sweatband, but it's okay. I'm starting to get a little sloppy around the hand. It's very hard for me to see. At that point, I would recommend for you to zoom in. Okay, going to wrap this up. It's not perfect, but gets the job done, right? So now I have him selected. What the assignment asks you to do for this particular image is to add a stroke. Okay, but right now I'm going to show you how to remove the background just so that y'all have a refresher, and then I'll do edit, undo, edit, step backward to show you how to add the stroke. Okay, so we want to inverse the selection. So how do we do that? Let me clear my drawings. We click select up top. So this button right there. Click select, and I'm going to select inverse, the third one. What that does, it selects the opposite. So all you would do at this time is press delete on your keyboard or backspace, and you'll see how the background's deleted, and you'll see where I got sloppy, right? Another way to delete is by doing edit clear. You'll see it's gone as well. You'll see that the actual shortcut is delete. So I'm going to do edit undo, edit step backward. Okay, so now I'm asking for a stroke. So if you remember what a stroke is, it's an outline. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new layer. So click layer right there. Layer new, layer. Now you would go back to edit. Right here, kind of covering it, I'm sorry. And then stroke. Okay, 3 pixels is fine, just don't go over 10. And then position outside, so it'd be outside of the stroke, inside would be inside of the stroke, inside the selection, and then center would be a balance. So I'm gonna keep it on outside, everything normal. I'm just gonna change that to white. Click OK. And you'll see now it gives him kind of effect that he looks like a sticker. All right, and the more accurate your selecting is, it's going to be more appealing. So let's say I wanted to move him over. I deselected. I'm gonna go into the move tool and I'm gonna move the stroke. So you'll see now it gives him some type of artistic effect. Okay. You can also play around with the opacity. So opacity just means how much color you have. And so make sure that you'll see that on your layer panel, but it's depending on which layer you have selected. So if I adjust the opacity on layer 2, you'll see how the stroke kind of fades away. All right, if I adjust the layer 1, you'll see how it gets whiter. All right, so those are a few tips. What you can also do is, now I'm gonna leave it there. So that's pretty much it. Bye.